All right, all right. I'm just waiting for everybody to get in here. If you guys can please do me a good favor and hit this link button, hit this retweet button. I would greatly appreciate that. Also, up in the Jumbotron, I have tonight's program. We are going live this evening. So hit that Jumbotron. If you guys are wondering where you can see this space in case you guys got to leave out early or whatever the case is, this case will be on YouTube tomorrow on the For the Culture channel. So if you guys miss anything, if y'all just so interested and want to watch it back, you guys can do so. So, and this is not going to be a long space either. So I'm kind of going to get started with it. We're gonna get right into it, and we're gonna allow people to come up and chop it up with the family. So recently, Janet Jackson, for those of you guys who don't know, Janet Jackson was doing an interview with someone. Somewhere in the interview, she was asked about Kamala. Don't know what the question necessarily was, but she was asked about Kamala. And her response was it kind of in not rebutting, but just kind of saying casually, like, oh, well, I heard that Kamala is Indian. I heard that her dad is white. And that got pushed back in the interview. Not only did that get pushed back in the interview, that went super, super viral on social media. Everybody on social media weighing in on it. Everybody on social media giving their opinion on it is going all over YouTube, all over Instagram, all over TikTok. Everybody weighing in, DL Hughley, all of them. Now, a lot of us are actually glad that she said that. I'm going to put what I had to say in the Jumbotron. I'm glad she said that. And a lot of people are upset she said that. A lot of people wanted her to take it down. A lot of people wanted her to apologize. And then an apology had came out saying that, she took back the statement. Turns out that that apology was actually fake. That was actually a fake apology. That apology really didn't come out by her. It was not authorized by her. Somebody on her team, mostly more than likely, I would say, a Harris supporter. A Harris supporter came out and was all like, "Oh no, this is not what she stands for. What whoop de whoop? This not what she stands for. She takes everything back." And Janet said, "No, I didn't authorize that, and you would have to fight because you're supposed to be representing me." And you're saying something on my behalf that I did not sign off on. So apparently, that the individual who made the statement that Janet Jackson apologized was actually fired for that. So Janet Jackson is standing on what she had said in the interview. And this is making a lot of people mad. And a lot of receipts are starting to come out about a bunch of people. A lot of people are upset, saying that Janet is ignorant, saying that Janet doesn't know any better, and that this is misinformation. This is MAGA talk. That's what a lot of people are saying, that you sound like MAGA. You sound like a Trump supporter. How do you not know she's black? You shouldn't be so ignorant to politics. I mean, they're out there just roasting her right after, just on the eve of her brother dying. Tito Jackson, rest in power to that brother. Tito Jackson passed away not long ago. And Janet Jackson was having an interview. I don't know. The interview might have been about Tito. Who knows what the interview was about? I doubt it was about Kamala, but who knows? But right then, I mean, dragging her for absolute filth, talking about her children, saying that, well, don't you have biracial children? Shouldn't you understand if you have biracial children? Shouldn't you understand that Kamala Harris is, or Kamala, because they get so very, very triggered when you mispronounce her name all of a sudden. Shouldn't you understand that she's biracial just like your children are biracial? And I'm going to say this. Kamala, whatever her name is not biracial. The only way, and we're going to have to get this straight. We're going to have to get this straight. And this is why I have to say this. You shouldn't have to, but we do have to. The only reason why I would say Kamala is not a biracial person is because in order for you to be biracial, bi, if you look it up in the dictionary, bi, that's bi, it means two or both. Okay? That's what it means. If you look up what it means to be biracial, both your parents have to be of a different race. So that means you have to have one fully black parent, white parent, Asian parent, and then another fully black parent, white person, parent, Asian parent. Follow me, y'all, because this is very important. So for her to be biracial, that would mean that one of her parents is fully black and another one of her parents is fully Indian. That would make her biracial. But the truth of the matter is, which is what a lot of people are trying to skate around, a lot of people trying to beat around the bush when it comes to the situation of her father. Her father is not a full black person. Some pictures have come out with Kamala Harris's grandmother on her father's side. Now, Kamala Harris's grandmother on her father's side is a black Jamaican. That's the truth of that. But her grandfather on her father's side is an Irishman who is a descendant of slave owners. So that would make her father, y'all follow, and I've already said this on YouTube, so it can be research. I've already said this on YouTube. You can already look this up. This is why a lot of people like to play little games with the dad. They don't really say what the dad is. They just show that one single picture of the dad where he has a little bit of hair and he can kind of look like a light-skinned black person. That's and literally, I want you guys to understand that is literally the only picture of her father that they show. Because that's the only picture of her father that people can say kind of look black. The other pictures of her father, he doesn't even look black. Her dad, and there's not a single person, I will pay money. There's literally not a single person who can come on this stage and correct me on this because this is already verified. Her dad's father is an Irishman who is a descendant of slave owners. That is completely verified. That's not a conspiracy. That's not coming from MAGA. That's coming from the grassroots. Now, his mom is a native Jamaican. So that would make her dad mixed. So if a mixed person, follow me, if a mixed person has a baby with someone who's not black at all, her mom's not black whatsoever, then how can the baby is not black then? You can't tell me you have everybody in this chat room listening live or listening recorded has 4 grandparents. You got 2 on your daddy's side, 2 on your mama's side. Everybody. That's just how human beings work. You mean to tell me only one of your grandparents gets to be black and that makes you black? I mean, that's literally how low they lower the bar. The bar is they're lowering the bar so she can fit in. You literally are telling me that you only need one black grandparent for you to be black. The rest of your family can be an Indian, but you are black because of that one black grandparent. No, we're not going to lower the bar. We're not going to sit up there and give some type of exception. We're not going to do that. We are not going to do that. So Janet was correct. Her dad, if they want to say, well, your dad sounds, her dad is black. Well, her dad is just as black as he is white. Her dad is just as black as he is white. And let's be honest, we don't know what her dad is really like. We don't know what her dad identifies as. Not that that would matter, because it doesn't matter what her dad identifies as. He didn't get with a black woman. That tells you a lot, doesn't it? They all talking about how pro-black her dad is, how her dad is pro-black and married a Hindu Indian. Then not just had a baby, he married her. They were married at a certain point in time. They got a divorce, but they were married. So I think that's a good reflection on the pro-blackness of her father right there. How did how does a Jamaican marry a Hindu Indian? Where do y'all even meet? What do y'all have in common? Where does that happen from somebody who was supposed to be this pro-black person? Which we seen time and time again. Just because one parent is pro-black, don't mean the child is going to be pro-black. I mean, she did marry Doug, didn't she? It's not like she married a black man. I'm not even going to say an FBA man. She didn't marry anybody who black or melanated to any degree. She didn't even marry an Indian. She went to a white dude. Okay? So where are we getting this from? So when we say that, this is what the grassroots has been saying ever since she ran, ever since she started running, this is what the grassroots has been speaking on. So when Donald Trump was having that interview and they tried to ambush Donald Trump and they tried to say, is Kamala Harris DEI? And he was all like, well, I heard she was black, and I mean, I heard she was Indian, and then I heard she was black. That didn't come from Donald Trump. That didn't come from MAGA. That didn't come from the GOP. That didn't come from Republicans. That came from the grassroots, brothers and sisters. That came from us. We are the ones who've been crusading. We are the ones who've been crusading, standing on lineage business. We're the ones who've been repping the lineage. We're the ones who've been doing that and said the absolute second Biden dropped out, we immediately said, we already know the game y'all gonna play. We already know y'all play. There's only one play y'all can have, and that's to blacken her up so y'all can get us to support her. That's the only play y'all have, and we saw it from a mile away. So the second Biden dropped out, we said Kamala is not black. We went on this big thing of saying, no, Kamala is not black. Kamala is Indian, and she got to hold that. Not that being Indian is a bad thing, I guess, but she got to hold that. She can't come over here and be black now when she needs some votes. No, because we knew that's what they were going to do. We knew that what the play was. We knew that. And because we said it and we led the narrative on that, everybody else started to pick that up and follow that. That's why you saw Donald Trump and other Republicans on the right. They're copying and mimicking what we are saying. They're not saying where they got it from. Of course they're not. They're not saying exactly word for word what we're saying. Not to the very large degree. But I want you guys to understand, we're the ones leading the narrative on that. That's Janet Jackson. Where do you think Janet Jackson got that from? Janet Jackson didn't get the fact that Kamala is Indian from CNN. She didn't get that from MSNBC. She damn sure ain't get that from ABC. She didn't even get that from Fox News. She got that from us. She got that because our voice is what's echoing. Our voice is what's being heard. Our message is what's being pushed. That's us over here. That's where she got that from. She's not, I want you to understand, there are, if you look it up now, when you look up different articles, they are trying their absolute hardest not to even mention her Indian heritage anymore. Now, they have to bring it up because it's undeniable. But when you look up Kamala Harris, they say Kamala Harris, the first black. They don't say black and Indian. They'll just put a whole black in the thing. Now, it's very interesting because this comes from the same mainstream media that anytime they say something about tangibles, it's black and brown, it's black and people of color, it's black and disenfranchised community. But now they're only saying black because they need her to be black. I need you guys to understand this. I want you guys, before we get into that, let me say, ask this question. It's very important. Kamala being black, Kamala being Indian, Kamala being white, what does that really matter? Does that really matter policy-wise? No, not really. Does it really make that much of a difference policy-wise? Not really. So if it doesn't make that much of a difference, if it doesn't change her background, if it doesn't change her electability, what does that mean? They want her to be black so bad because that's the only way she would have any bit of black support whatsoever. Because what they want to do is they want to say, well, she's black, so wink, wink. You already know you're supposed to support her. She's black, so wink, wink. You already know what to do. I saw a little bit. Well, I saw of Chris Rock. He went on Oprah's thing. Chris Rock went on Oprah's thing, and Chris Rock, when they asked him, why are you supporting Kamala Harris? What are you supporting Kamala Harris for? Chris Rock said out of his mouth that he's supporting her because he wants to take his daughters to the White House to see the first black woman president. That's what he said. So that's what they're selling this on. You don't see a lot of Indians saying nothing about Kamala in a very great way, do you? I mean, she's mostly Indian, and yet you see a lot of silence from the Indian community. You think that this would be the main community out there championing her. You think this would be the main community stomping for her, advocating for her, trying to promote her. That would be, you would think, right? Her mom is her biggest influence. She said it herself in her book. Her mom is her biggest influence. Her Indian family is her biggest influence. She said that herself. So why is not the Indian community out there supporting her like that? And they're not doing that a lot because she's trying to distance herself from her Indianness. Let's be very honest with you. Kamala is definitely trying to distance herself from her Indianness right now. She's trying to do that because she doesn't want us to sit here and have these conversations that we're having right now. She doesn't want us to sit here and have the conversations of, well, now that we think about it, now that I put two and two together, she is mostly Indian. She's not even really that, but she's not even really half black. I could get it if she was half, but she's not. She doesn't want us to have those conversations at all. So I'm telling you, in the mainstream media, the word Indian is like a taboo word right now. They don't want to associate her with either her Indian heritage, or Biden. They want to completely divorce her of both those things. Which is why it's important, because if that's what they want us not to do, it's very important for us to make sure that we do that. Because that is the truth. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to manipulate the emotions of some people who are ill-informed, some people who are naive, and say, well, this is the first black woman president, and your daughters are going to look up to this woman, and she's going to be such a great inspiration of hope, and your daughters are going to be so inspired to do great things and everything. No, they're not. No, they are not. Because I can guarantee you, if she does win, the whole black thing will go straight out the window. She will not do anything for black people. The same way she's not doing anything for black people now, which is why we're making the point where we're standing on the fact that we don't support her. Because I'm going to be very honest with you, and this might be just me. This might be just me, but if she was fully Hindu Indian, and she said, you know what, I'm fully Hindu Indian, but I understand the foundational Black American community, and I'm fully willing to support any type of reparations agenda, any type of tangibles. I'm fully willing to do that. I'm signing off. If she was there stomping for giving us tangibles without no bull drive, without no nothing burger, without none of that, I would not have a problem with her. I wouldn't have a problem if she was Caucasian. I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of people might be all like, what? But I'm gonna be honest. That don't mean we have to like them. It don't mean I gotta like her. But if she was saying, hey, I support reparations 100%, cash payment reparations, no bull job, no nothing burger, black hate crime bill, all these types of things that we're advocating for and we're pushing for, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But the thing is that the reason why we have a problem, and I'm speaking for me, but I believe I'm speaking for every single last person in the grassroots right now, is not the fact that she's not black, is the fact that she is anti-black. She's anti-black. Look at her past. She's anti-black, and she's trying to get votes based off of the little bit of black percentage she has in her DNA. That's our problem. Besides that, we wouldn't have a problem if she was for reparations and for an anti-black hate crime bill and all that stuff. We wouldn't have that problem. But you can't be anti-black and then be all like, hey guys, my dad's from Jamaica, so you already know, wink wink. Hey, oh, hell no. Hell no. That's offensive and disrespectful, and any other community would not tolerate that at all. You wouldn't be able to tolerate that. You can't be a quarter one of these other communities. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You can't be a quarter them and then come and be all like, "Oh, I know I've done so much harm to your community, but my grandma is one of you, so you know what I mean. Now I'm one of you technically." No, no, they would not do that. So this is our problem, and I want this to be very clear. When anybody else like, why don't you like her? Because she's anti-black. And I want you to understand, some black people are anti-black. Some fully black people are anti-black. Our allegiance ain't to how a person looks. Our allegiance is to the agenda. If she's anti-black and she's against our agenda, she's not getting our support. Whether she's fully FBA, whether she's fully Jamaican, whether she's fully Indian, or anything else. Now we got some speakers up here. Sage, you got something real quick, because I definitely want to get to our good brother Great Black Shark,
Peace to the
and
family.
then
You got me good?
the Negro.
You
Okay,
can hear
I'll
me,
be
Afro?
real brief. Um, Thank you for allowing me to speak. Good
Wait, hold
space.
on. I was saying
Can you
you
hear
go
me?
after Great Black Shark. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So first of all, peace to the family. I want to say this. Why aren't they pointing out Donald Trump's ethnicity? Why are we so focused on her ethnicity? What does that have to do with this vote that I'm about to do? I don't understand what the whole point of, pointing out, quote unquote, where this girl, excuse me, this woman is from. My whole thing with Kamala, whatever she wants to call herself today. My whole thing with that lady is she's not going to do anything tangible for us. She's made it very clear. There's no need for her to spell it out in Hindu or whatever. It doesn't matter. Kamala doesn't even talk like a black woman talks. My whole thing is that if you can go to a HBCU and become black, there's a lot of white people that have attended HBCUs. Are they now black? I myself have went to college. I did not attend an HBCU. Does that make me non-black? So if you gauge yourself on going to a HBCU as per being black, what the hell are we talking about at the end of the day? My whole thing is that Kamala has a track record of not doing anything specifically for black people. Actually, she's harmed black people in California from what I've heard and what I've seen. My research has showed that she's harmed specifically black women. So when you look to her as some type of savior, I think you said earlier that Chris Rock said he wants to take his daughter to the White House to see the first black uh, female president. That's symbolism. That's nothing tangible. So again, when we cast our vote, we want something tangible. We don't necessarily want symbolism. And as far as friends, I'm not looking for friends. What's that dude name? JFK, whatever. The Kennedy dude. When he was running, if he was gonna do something tangible, he would have got the vote. If Donald Trump, coming from a Nazi line, if he was gonna do something tangible, he would have gotten the vote. If Kamala's gonna do something tangible, she will get the vote. I don't give a damn what you look like. I'm not trying to be your friend. I always bring up Lyndon B. Johnson. Lyndon B. Johnson hated us, y'all. Y'all have to understand that. Lyndon B. Johnson did not like black people at all. But when it came to policies, no president since or before him has done more for black, specifically foundational black Americans, than Lyndon B. Johnson. And he couldn't say 5 words without using the word nigger. And with that, I'm gonna pass it to my brother Black Alpha. Hold on, I
He's
didn't
having
even.
some.
I'm so
He's
sorry, brother. I didn't even address the topic of the room. I stand 100% behind our sister, Queen Janet Jackson. I stand 100% behind her. What she said was not wrong. What she said was from her heart. I don't think it meant any malice. So I stand with her, absolutely. And my issue with people like such as D.L. Hughley was you got on people for getting at Kamala saying that, or Kamala, whatever her name is, getting at her saying, oh, we're supposed to protect black women, but you're now on a crusade attacking one. A well known, well respected throughout the years. We're talking about 40 plus years that Janet Jackson has been respected in the black community. And you're attacking her for this? Seriously? For this? All right. And with that, I'm passing my brother Great Black Sean.
Salute to you, brother Afro Elite, brother Sage, and brother Black Alpha, and the brother over here, Negro Knight. Salute to everybody. Much respect in the room. Can everybody hear me? Okay.
you good.
You
You good.
perfect, brother.
Bet. I'm gonna be very brief here, and first I would like to address the subject matter of the room. Of course, I stand with our good foundational Black American freedman sister Janet Jackson, a legendary icon in Black America, and she has done more things for Black America than D.L. Hughley and any of these Democrat shillbillies combined. She has more successful accomplishments, and she's connected to her people and her lineage because to piggyback off what brother Afro Elite and brother Sage was saying, she comes from our culture, okay? And one of the things that these Democrat shillbillies or even the Republicans are going to have to become accustomed to, we have stepped into a season of political maturity where things are not about symbolism and how we feel. We're about tangible policies and what you're going to do for our people. And furthermore, beyond that, you will not dictate to us from outside of our lineage what our concerns and our affairs are going to be. Voting is a business transaction, and the only currency that we're accepting is tangible policy specifically for us. There's not going to be any and attached onto it. And then to go back to the issue of our sister Janet Jackson, they were so disrespectful and disingenuous, but I'm glad they did it because this is a great time for them to come out and put themselves on Front Street. There's going to be nowhere for any shield to hide, whether you're on the Democrat side or the Republican side. All the shields have to come out into the open. And what is the most beautiful thing about this to me is I know both of you are grown men, but you young brothers, Afro, brother Sage, brother Black Alpha, it is great to see the young foundational Black American freedmen men speaking the way you're speaking because you brothers are the future of our people, along with the young sisters who are the future of our people. And they're not prepared to deal with on code Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z. It's a brand new day, so they better get used to that. And as far as them trying to disrespect any of our icons, they're going to learn real quick that the sister Janet Jackson has the same support that we gave the brother Kyrie Irving. And when it comes back to the policies, I like to agree with you, brother Afro. I wouldn't care if she was Hindu. I wouldn't care if she was a zebra with polka dot and purple stripes. If she's talking about doing something specifically for our people, this is about being adults. We don't care about what her specific race or lineage is. What we care about is that record. Because see, when you talk about people like Chris Rock and other politically ignorant celebrities that are juveniles when it comes to understanding the plight of our people because they're so far removed from us, Chris Rock saying that he's basing that off of symbolism. I guarantee you, if you said Chris Rock or anybody else that's capable for commandment, can you tell me anything about her political record towards foundational Black American freedmen people when she was in California as the top cop? And I'm like, if you can't do that, you're not qualified to speak for our people. So with that said, you brothers and sisters in here, keep up the great work. This is a fight that we will win if only we stay on code together. Salute to you. Black first.
P1 family.
Black first, brother. Thank you for speaking.
P1 family. Can you hear me?
York, it's
Yeah.
not your time yet.
Well,
It's not your
yeah.
time yet, York.
This is we'll go to the Negro Black Knight. You York, just raise your hand. We got you.
Thank you guys for allowing me to speak. Great room. Great topic as always. Standing with Janet Jackson against Kamala Harris all day. I'm with Janet Jackson. I think that this is a great topic. I think that we can expand from outside of Twitter space and actually hit the real world in a real way in regards to lineage, understanding about heritage and having an ethnic esteem about these type of issues and things. I think that I think that this is a great way to leverage that, get us more on code to for our loved ones to understand the importance of that. So I think that that's pretty dope and pretty cool. Um, the other thing that I find very awkward about from Kamala Harris is this Nikki Haley lady who's like one of the politicians in I think the Carolinas and whatnot. She's an Indian woman too, but she cosplay more as a white woman. And I've just been noticing it's just like a lot of these Indian politicians in general have a deep issue with the black community when we per se never had any contact with them. So I don't know where this hatred and where this biasness and hostility is coming from to where they could feel comfortable about denying us reparations and things of that nature. So those are some of the things I am just like side eyeing. Like, you guys just came here to America. We never really even had any contact with you. Like, I will say maybe World War II, maybe, and that's a stretch. That's like a big stretch. So like, I just don't get these guys. And I had like I know that Dr. Short said something about their faith, but saying that we come out their ass or some crazy crap like that. It's not shot at him. Saying I believe that, but just to think that about a group of people is kind of it's out there. It's really really crazy. So like I just want to point out it's not just her. It's the pale skinned one too as well, who used the cake soap. She's on the move too. So it's the whole Indian people I'm looking at, like kind of suspect.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we've just discussed this on multiple occasions. In India, the color caste system is very severe. Like I'm talking about if you watch a documentary or a special on it, you'll see like the light skinned Indians that can kind of pass as white. They're the doctors and the lawyers and the politicians. And then you'll see like the dark skinned Indians. They work as in the sewer and they work in like traffic and like they have the like upper tier jobs and lower tier jobs and they have the lower tier job. I said this before. Notice when you I don't know if you guys watch this guy on Instagram. His name is, I think, Super Ray. He be making those like little joke videos about how Indians be cooking food on the floor and doing all this nasty stuff. Notice how you don't see the light skinned Indians doing that. You see the dark skinned Indians doing that. And the reason why you see the dark skinned Indians doing that is because light skinned Indians don't live like third world. Light skinned Indians don't live like that. That's how serious the color system is in India. They have very deep hatred of blackness in general. You even Gandhi was he was a crazy racist. A lot of people didn't know that at the time. Dr. King didn't know that, but Gandhi couldn't stand. He hated black people. All that fake peace and all that stuff. He could not stand any black person. So I mean, we haven't done nothing to them, but we ain't did nothing to nobody, and they all hate us. That's a
that's a
great
very
point you bring
interesting.
up.
Yeah, that's a very great point you bring up. Nikki Haley is claiming to be white, while Kamala Harris is claiming to be black. None of them are claiming to be Indian, and you should be proud of who you are. Y'all got to understand. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and in New York to be just quote unquote what that nigga Kai Cenat said, you're just black. That means that you're foundational to this land. That means that you're not an immigrant. That means that you don't come anywhere else. When you hear anyone other than a person that is from this land say you're just black and you're in New York, that means that you're foundational to this land. You're not an immigrant. So my thing is, why are all these people running from who they are? And to address the brother, Negro Black Knight's point, I believe that why Janet is saying that is because she gets that from the grassroots. We were the only ones in the beginning calling out Kamala Harris's um, Indian ethnicity. We were the only ones. Well, that technically, yeah, India will be ethnicity. We were the only ones calling that out. It's only when she ran for president when she tried the whole "I'm black like y'all." Before that, if you look up paperwork on her, it says Asian. So Janet, I'm pretty sure she's not abreast to all of that information. It's not necessarily her job. She wasn't put here to do that. We all know what Janet was put here to do. But the fact that she's regurgitating points from the grassroots lets y'all know that she hears us. Do not wait on CNN or Fox News, to say, hey, we heard, Afro Elite say this. We heard Black Alpha say this. That's never going to happen. What they're going to do is start speaking your talking points. So when you hear a woman like Ann Coulter say, she's not foundational Black American, know that that came from you. Don't wait for them to say exactly what you think they're going to say. They're going to say it, but in their own way. And with that, I'm going to pass it to Boykins Spaniel. It's on you. It's on you, sis.
Hi, good afternoon. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, ma'am. You're good.
Great, great, great. Good afternoon, Afro Elite, Sage, everybody on the stage and in the room listening to me.
Good afternoon.
Standing with Janet Jackson against Kamala Harris. Well, Janet Jackson is a Black woman, a sister we need to protect at all costs, period, in the discussion. Janet Jackson, in her own right, has clearly defined not just foundational Black American greatness, but American culture, period. End of discussion. The Jackson family is royalty in American culture. They helped develop the Motown
Hey, Mr.
sound in the
Chris, hold on,
60s
Mr.
and
Chris.
70s.
There's some noise when
Hello?
you come off the mic. Just letting you know.
Hello?
So, yeah,
Is
I'm just letting them know.
somebody
I heard
else?
some background noise. I think he came off the mic. So just everybody might mute up while the speaker's talking. Y'all go get y'all a chance to speak.
Hey,
You can
York.
continue. You can continue.
Thank you. Thank you. So back to what I was saying with the Jackson family is cultural royalty, period. They built everything in the music industry. If it weren't for the Jackson family, then you wouldn't have pop music. You wouldn't have all the genres of modern music that we have right now. So the late Joe Jackson and Mama Jackson, Catherine Jackson, they are of the soil. They came from the soil. Okay, and Kamala Harris has not can't say that. Neither of her parents came from the soil. Okay, she didn't. Janet Jackson spent her childhood in Gary, Indiana, and then later on in Los Angeles, California. Kamala Harris spent her formative years in Westmount, which is a very well-to-do suburb of Quebec, Montreal, in Quebec, Canada. Okay, what has Kamala Harris contributed to Black culture, Black American identity, to American culture? What has she done? What has she contributed? Okay, and if we're going to talk about specific policies, for all of my family in California who's listening right now, who are old enough to remember or who are directly impacted personally and professionally by Kamala Harris when she was prosecutor, whether it was city prosecutor or state prosecutor. What did she do to help Black Americans? How did she do anything to improve our socioeconomic, socio-political status? She can't talk on that. And when Sage brought up the issues regarding South Asians or East Indians, okay, and their hatred for everything black, it's true. Most of the caste system defines how people think and what they do and how they lived. Listen, my congressional representative is a South Asian immigrant. She came to the United States in 1986, and she's a congressional representative already. Go figure. Okay? And even in my city, they passed legislation where you cannot discriminate against South Asians based on caste, but they can't get a discrimination settlement with the Black Amazon workers. All right, go figure that. But long and short of it is, what's happening now is that foundational Black Americans, we're moving with a purpose, backing and unifying Janet Jackson. And we're moving with the energy that neither the Democrats nor the Republicans can combat. We've got them on the ropes. We got them where we need to see them. They can't hide behind a cosplaying South Asian anymore. They can't hide behind bootlicking shills on any side, whether it's Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, or Green Party. Now they have to deal with us because the road to the White House starts and ends with Black American voters. And I will yield the mic.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. But we got our good brother. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to this good brother. Black Alpha Network is on the stage. Black Alpha, you got it, brother.
Appreciate that, family. How do I sound? Is the audio working good?
You
Yes,
good,
sir.
brother?
All right, all right. First off, one love to everybody in here.
Did you say Path Adjustment Lou?
Certified salute, much love, respect, everybody. One love to everybody in here. Appreciate you, Afro, for putting this together. Appreciate you, Brother Sage, everybody. Where do I start? Let me just touch on, what my brothers have already put out, what I'm saying, as well as our sisters put down on the table. Y'all see right now that the Democratic Party is being hyperly exposed. All this stuff about Black women this and Black women, let's go there, y'all. Remember, just about a month ago, it was Win with Black women. And they was talking about Zoom chats with 40,000 Black women this and stand with Black women won the election. All of these things that they always say, protect Black women. But you notice now when that Black woman, a real Black woman, by the way, disagrees with the Democratic Party, they don't just go out and say something back to her. They openly insult her. And if anybody's been following it, now this done turned into Michael Jackson, it done turned into Tito Jackson. They literally are coming after the whole Jackson family. So it shows you that the Democratic Party are doing nothing but what they've always done, and that's being frauds. They're decoys, they fake, they phony, whatever term you want to come up with that necessitates something that's not real. That's the Democrats. They have no love for Black people. They only care about people that they can use for some type of political, social gain, Black votes, basically. We done called it out, and we knew this. We knew this since day one. We knew that they don't really stand with Black women. They just want to use Black women for votes. They don't really stand with Black men. They only want to use Black men for votes. The Black family, they don't give a damn about the Black family. As a matter of fact, the Democrats are the only people who always speak about the Black man and Black woman as if we're not the same. How many times do you ever hear them bring up the Puerto Rican woman separate from her man? How many times do they bring up the Asian man separated from his woman? You don't never hear that. But they'll always do that with us. These people are in full out assault on Black Americans. Y'all got to understand. The Democrats have been taking L's left and right, left and right, left and right. And when Joe Biden dropped out because he's 3,037 years old, they had no other choice but to say, we got to put this on the backs of Black people. This election is, are Black folks going to continue to be the plantation workers for the Democrats? And when they inserted Kamala Harris, they went full Black mode. Y'all remember when it was Joe Biden and Trump, it really wasn't about Black folks. As soon as they inserted Kamala, they said, if we're going to go down, we're going to go down with what we know best. And that's trying to hustle and con Black people. That's the main thing that the Democrats try to do. And we've been calling it out for years now. But Kamala being the one that they're trying to use, we done took it to another level. So now we're saying, Y'all not really down for black folks, and this person is not a black person. We done put out everything, a certified salute to the grassroots, because we done seen birth certificates, we done seen grandmas, great grandmas, slave owners. We know more about Kamala Harris's background than they'll ever tell you. Brothers and sisters right here on X, formerly known as Twitter, have more receipts on this woman being a non-black person than the Democrats will ever put out publicly. We know that she was going downtown on Willie Brown. We know about this. We know that she was locking black people up. We've actually spoke to these people and we've, conversated with them. We know that her DNA, you got to search for any piece of blackness if you find any. We know this. So the Janet Jackson situation right now, as it unfolds, is only highlighting what we've already been on. And we cannot allow these people to say that that's a right-wing term. No, it's not. Donald Trump said that because they got an eye on us. And Coulter's running around here talking about foundational Black American because they got an eye on us. Do not let these people say this is something that Trump came up with, because that's their way of slandering it. That's their way of trying to dismiss it. Oh, don't listen to it. That's just something Donald Trump said. See, it sounds better when they say Trump came up with it, because then they can make it into a conspiracy. Now, if they say what it really is, and that's that your average, everyday, 9-to-5, working class, proletarian, Black American don't F-U-C-K with Kamala, because we know she ain't Black, that hits a little different. So this is why I'm loving how we stand on code and we stand with Janet Jackson, because when it comes down to foundational Black Americans as a family tree, you got the ones who are, as I say, certified, and then you have the ones who are counterfeit. And it don't take a dictionary for you to understand the difference. Certified, that's all of us, the ones that come from the soil. Counterfeit are these people who show up last night and then they start trying to put badges on their shirt and raise in some type of high ranking in our community. We disallow that from happening. So we got to continue to delineate, separate, regulate, and it starts with Kamala Harris, and we got to stand next to our sister. Got all that out the way, brother. Back to you.
I'm gonna say something before because we got more speakers. So before we get it to, because we're gonna go with York, and then Mr. Chris, and then Path of, and then Path. All right. Before we do that, I want to say something. If her record, Kamala, if her record was so supportive of Black people, let's say she was always out there advocating for Black people, advocating for Black issues, for reparations, for anti-Black hate crime bill. She was locking up race soldiers for harming Black folk. If she was, or a vice president and trying to do the best she can for Black people, if she was doing that, we wouldn't even be talking about her being Black or not. We wouldn't be talking about her being Black or not. Okay, the only reason why her being Black is a conversation is so what they're trying to do is, they're not working with it, but what they're trying to do is to get people to overlook the fact that she has not done anything for the Black community her entire political career, and she still doesn't plan on doing anything. Look at her agenda now. She finally came out with one. Look at her agenda now. Ain't nothing about Black people. Nothing even remotely close. Ain't nothing about no police. Ain't nothing about not even HR 40, not even a study for, ain't nothing about Black people in her policy. She's not saying nothing at all. She doing interviews, barely want to call herself Black. She don't want nothing to do with Black people. So we not gonna sit up here and allow people to bash our sister Janet Jackson because she says that Kamala's Indian, which she is, which if Kamala had it her way, she would proudly proclaim. But she can't do that right now because she needs Black votes. But we're not gonna let that happen. Let's give it to York, and then we'll pass it down the line.
Okay, B1 family. Can you hear me?
Yeah, B1.
Like, hey, brother, Afro Elite, Black Alpha, man, you brothers, man, Marcel, brother Nasheed, man. I mean, you brothers, man, make me proud, brother. And I'm gonna tell you what else make me proud, man. When I'm out there and I see the whole on code FBA family protecting the north, south, east, and west walls out there, I get emotional. I get it most. Can you hear me, brothers,
Yeah, we hear you.
sisters?
We hear you.
Yeah, yeah. I see FBA, man, protecting the north, south, east, and west walls. And I'm gonna tell you something else too. Just like you said, brother Elite, that sister Janet, she hears us. She hears us, and I've read on a few articles. It's not written in stone, but I've seen a couple of others where she's damn near doubling down now. And you know why? You know why where she's getting that strength from? She's getting that strength from FBA. She's out. She pops in out here and she watching out of her busy schedule. She watches. She takes time to come. Don't think she don't come in here and see for herself because the spotlight is on her. And she see how FBA are circling the wagons around her. She's drawing strength from us. That's why she's standing 10 doors down. It's in her heart anyway, but she knows she's not out there by herself. She knows she's not out there alone. And about Kamala Harris, and I'm gonna shut it down. What they're doing, what Kamala Harris is doing, you know those old Amos and Andy blackface radio shows? They used to have Amos and Andy being played by two white guys, and they wore black faces. That's what Kamala Harris is doing in front of our faces right now. She's putting on blackface in front of us. And with that, I'll land my plane.
That's a good point. She's an imposter. We're gonna get to Mr. Chris, unless one of the co-hosts have something they want to say before we get to Mr. Chris.
I do want to add this in too. This is the Kyrie Irving thing all over again. If you allow them to try to destroy Janet Jackson because of her, then that's someone else. What we need to do now is stand up and actually back and support Janet Jackson 100%. And with that, I'm going to throw it to Chris. It's on you, brother.
Okay, B1, ladies and gentlemen. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. You can be heard. B1.
Yeah, man. Look, we've all been saying the same things about Kamala for the last, I don't know, years now. And it's to the point now where it's just about what the other brother said about circling the wagons for Janet Jackson. But now we need to just go after the clowns, just go after the bootlicks, the shields, all of them, because it's not going to stop. And what I mean by that is that D.L. Hughley and his foolishness, Candace Owens and her queen coonishness, these people ain't going to stop unless we use our media platforms to embarrass these clowns. Because that's what I'm all about. Because that's all they understand. The point is that, you know, I know that anybody who's followed me on Twitter, I know my tweets are brutal and they're vicious, but that's how deep I go with this. I'm a bit older than most brothers that, you know, have platforms, and my thing is that I'm just tired of the talking. If DL, Ricky Smiley, Roland Martin, Queen Coon, Candace Owens, when any of these clowns are on my timeline on Twitter, I'm about humiliating and embarrassing them. And come November 6th, when Kamala, after the dust is settled, that Kamala has lost, and then all the Steve Harveys and the Oprahs are going to be talking, because they're going to be talking real muddy to us. We need to give them that work right then and there. That the days of vote blue no matter who are dead and gone. Our votes are business transactions. Deal with it. That's all I can say. B1.
B1, brother. Thank you you for that. I fully agree. And they know that we gonna be on the top of the hit list. We're gonna be on the top of their hit list because they gonna know why there was such a low turnout for the black community, which is who they need. Don't let anybody else confuse you. That's who they need.
Yes,
because that's what's gonna determine the swing states.
Exactly, Afro. And if you can make videos or any type of or any audio footage of clowning Steve Harvey, and putting it on as many platforms as you can, do it, and then tell them to do something about it. And so hey, that's how we got to make sure that these bootlicks understand that they're beneath us, and the only way to talk about it is to be about it. I'm done.
Yes, indeed. Well put. We're gonna get to Path of Juicy. How do you pronounce your name? Path of Juicy? Juiced?
Hey, fam, thank y'all for everything. Can you hear me?
Yeah. How do you pronounce your
Uh,
name, real quick?
well, it's some bootleg stuff I got from, I was a political science major, so I kind of took a little bit of French there. Path of Justice Malou is the way of justice, but
Okay.
that's just a
Okay.
little explanation of that. But yeah, first I like to always say thank you when I come to these rooms because it's some of the most intelligent, hardworking folk we have in our community and in the world for justice and all things in righteousness. So thank y'all and Afro Elite Black Alpha. Y'all are definitely of the new black media. Y'all are the new cats on the block, but y'all are definitely raising hell and doing great work. So I appreciate all of y'all's contributions specifically. But I really only had about 3 or 4 points, and let's see what my memory can retain. But I guess point number one would be I think a lot of black folk, we weren't taught this stuff in school, so we just don't know. But Aryanism is like the great grandfather, if you will, of white supremacy. And that really comes out of the Caucasus Mountains, to my knowledge, and then floated to Iran, which is right under the Caucasus Mountains. So they used to call it Assyria and Babylon, but it's right there in Iran. Tariq talks about this a little bit, but you can look that up. But anyway, that goes back to 1500 BCE. So some of this anti-blackness is like 3,000, 4,000 years old. And then the second place it went to was India. So we don't think about India with it because they talk about the caste system, but they don't talk about the caste system in reflection of its history of Aryanism and anti-blackness. Like there's been signs even when Kamala was running for a presidential candidate. What was that? 4 years ago, where my memory's just terrible, but where they showed in India that there was posters of her, but it was whitened up. And if you talk to people from the countries surrounding India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, they'll tell you damn near as many racist terms that white folk got for black folk here they got for their surrounding countries. So there's a deep seated anti-melanism or anti-blackness there in India. And that's what explains historically why a lot of them are anti-black. So I think we as a people we need to be more aware of this. Is that man, Aryanism specifically, but the anti-blackness, man, it's trace of that Japan, probably China, probably Vietnam, and a lot of these countries that we just weren't taught about because they're not going to tell us that they don't like us because they just got a fucked up culture. They're not going to say that, but that's just the cold reality. And some of these things have existed for millennia. So I guess that would be my first point. On the second point, it would be I think y'all touched this issue. Is like if you ask somebody like, what has Kamala ever done positively for the black community, they really can't list anything. But if you say what has she negatively done to affect the black community, you get at least 6 items, and that's even staying away from the marijuana point. You got the truancy point, you got God, her that dude she prosecuted and she kept the evidence from being admitted that would exonerated him, and she's got that all lives matter that she tried to do to the Freedmen's Bank, and there's a few other points there too. So you can list out her anti-black stuff, but you can't really list anything positive she's done for the black community. To be honest with you, uh, so that really needs to be the part of the conversation. Is like, damn, we should be able to list one thing positively you done, but we really can't. So I think that needs to be part of the conversation. I guess the third point I'm just going to leave it on because my memory is just not that great to be 100% honest. But third point, I was talking to a black he's kind of like a Tesman Figaro kind of person where he's a political consultant as a black man. And, he works on both sides of the aisle. But his point was he didn't really think Kamal had a huge chance of winning because of the lack of black support, which we've already conversed about. But even outside of that model, the conversation really made me think of, hey, these political parties, they really aren't really political parties. They're more like political corporations or political cartels, if you will, because their really job is to really get money, and they use votes and political support to try to get money from third party people. Um, And that designation is important because once you understand that they're not really political parties who actually represent people, but they're more like political cartels, you start looking at them differently. And what we've been doing is exactly what we should be doing, because their goal is, even if it's not to win an election, he was saying that, man, the Democrats don't think Kamala's going to win. But I mean, we need to still, do our part as Black American citizens to undermine the bullshit that she's bringing and the Democrats are doing. But on top of that, it's like their goal is really just to get that funding from her anyway. And they know if they can run a political campaign that interests people and is at least close enough to get donations, the Democratic Party wins either way. Even if they lose, they get the money. So what we're doing as far as taking more and more support away from them is actually what we need to do. Because if we do enough of that, then it's going to be hard for them to get to the donations and to the money, and that undermines them. They're going to have to either choose to die as a corporation or a cartel, or they're going to have to choose to give up in exchange for their access to the money. And I think I'm going to land the plane right there, but that's just a different way of thinking about the problem. We're actually doing the right thing. It's just we really need to be doing more of it, because at the end of the day, both of these parties are about the money. And as long as they can convince donor classes to give them billions of dollars, like even on the immigration, they're damn near breaking countries and causing them to be, I mean, cities like Chicago, and causing them to be broke, but it doesn't matter because that don't come out the Democrats' pocket. That comes out the city's pocket, but they can make the money on the back end through the donor class for their corporation or cartel. So they don't really give a fuck as long as they get the money. And as long as people want cheap immigrant labor and is going to donate to them to get it, then they're going to keep doing that. So anyway, I just want to land the plane right there.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that, bro. Now I'm gonna say something before we get to Sir Funk, right? Before we get to Sir Funk. The interview, now, like I said earlier in the space, we don't know why, or I'm not gonna say why, because it's Janet Jackson, of course, why, but we don't know what the interview was about. I seriously doubt that the interview was about politics. I don't think that the interview was about the election, Trump, Kamala. I don't think the interview was about her. I mean that. It might have been more than likely about, her and her brother Tito, or maybe another project she got coming up, or maybe the new Michael Jackson movie that's coming out soon. It could have been about any of those things. But they slid a question in there about Kamala. And this is one thing I don't like, and they always do this with FBA celebrities. I really don't like that, is when an FBA celebrity has a camera in front of them, or when they're doing an interview about their business or their family or something like that, then it's always, okay, so what do you think about Kamala Harris? Or what do you think about what Donald Trump had to say about this? Well, what is your stance on abortion? Like, they don't do that to white celebrities. Just keep that in mind. If Miley Cyrus was doing an interview about an album she's about to release, they wouldn't throw her a political question in there. They would not do that. They wouldn't do that. You don't see when white celebrities, if Brad Pitt was about to release a new movie or something like that, they wouldn't be all like, okay, well, Mr. Brad Pitt, what do you think about abortion access? Just real quick. They don't do that. But you see this happening all the time. They do that to black celebrities. Just based off of her answer, Janet Jackson's answer, you could clearly tell that the conversation wasn't all the way around politics. It was just like a side question that was brought up. Like, oh yeah, I heard this, by the way. She wasn't being, that's not clearly, you can look at the context. Clearly, that's not what the interview was about. So why is the interviewer even asking her for that? And they do this all the time with black celebrities, only specifically foundational Black American celebrities. They back you up into a wall and make you say something, and then next thing you know, if you don't say what they want you to say, then they be getting on you. They did that. And let me see, Usher, remember, like a couple weeks or so ago, Usher was on The View, and they was like, Usher, well, why don't you endorse Kamala? He was like, man, I'm kind of like, I don't really, I mean, politics is their own decision. And it was kind of like really trying to pressure him into doing that. And you see them doing that. They did it I think with Angel Reese, and they did that with the rapper Glorilla. They be just doing anybody they can do that to, they do that. 50 Cent, they was doing that to him too. Everybody they can do that to. I think they did that with Mike Tyson, if I'm not mistaken. He wound up saying Trump. So they got the reverse effect of that. If I'm remembering that correctly, but they only do that to foundational Black American celebrities. You don't see them doing that to Miley Cyrus. They ain't gonna do that to Adele. They not gonna do that to Brad Pitt. They not gonna do that to Tom Hanks. They not gonna do that to nobody else. But yet, the second they get up, real quick, LeBron James, what do you think about what Trump had to say? Like, why are you asking him that? That's just something that I just want you guys to notice that they do. Now let's get to Sir Funk.
Yeah, okay. I'm clicked in. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Appreciate the space, fam, as always. I just wanted to say, I live out here on the West Coast, and just a little reminder for those of you who might have it in your budget, come out to Las Vegas because Janet Jackson is doing her residency starting at the end of the month. How convenient. Let's show some support and love for the sister. She usually does. She usually sells out. She usually sells out when she does the residency in Vegas, as far as I remember. But at this point, this would be the most appropriate time to show who we are down with. And back to your point, Afro Elite, about cornering celebrities. What needs to happen, and what I think would happen now that we see this interesting inflection point that we're dealing with right now, is that Black celebrities who may have felt like they were on an island somewhere if they had an opinion that didn't fall in with the liberal elite, can now look at each other, and they can, in some small way, or maybe even large way, get on code. If Janet isn't afraid, they can look around and say to themselves, "Well, damn it, why am I afraid?" And you know what I'm saying? And get there, and all of a sudden now we have a unified front that isn't controlled by something that isn't of our community. And and the only other point I wanted to make is I live in the west side of LA, and then I also have a place that I stay in Vegas, and I have my I don't run in celebrity circles or anything like that, but I do have my phone. It's got 4K video, and I do come close enough to some politicians and some famous people, and I'm looking forward to the moment when I record my questions, especially for some of our politicians, so that I can post them and put them on Front Street like they need to be. Other than that, as I said, appreciate you having me on. Peace to the family.
Peace, brother. Thank you. And I'm gonna say I agree. And this is one of the times that we can show like this space right here, showing that we do agree with her, because one of the things is that celebrities are celebrity. I think hold on, let me okay. Our celebrity class is always backed in the corner. There's always a double standard. They're always backed in the corner, all this stuff. And then they feel like they got to go along with the get along because they're not going to have any support. Now, as we saw with Kyrie Irving wasn't wrong, but everybody wanted him to do this apology tour the same way Nick Cannon did. I'm not going to lie to you. Come on, let's tell the truth. The community backed Nick Cannon and was willing to back Nick Cannon all the way, but he folded. That's just the truth. We was all there. We all know what happened. The community was in lockstep with Nick Cannon, but Nick Cannon folded. Kyrie Irving, he was in the very same predicament, but Kyrie Irving didn't fold. And now Kyrie Irving is still playing. Kyrie Irving's still at the top of his game. And everybody still respect Kyrie Irving. Nick Cannon really ain't been the same. I mean, he's still doing stuff, and I guess that's cool or whatever, but he's never been the same. Nick Cannon has never been the same. Okay, and the community, we still would have watched Wild 'N Out. We still would have supported his project or whatever the case is. He would have got more support, honestly, for standing on the fact that he wasn't wrong. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why I'm definitely doubled down on this space, because Janet, it came out that she apologized, and she was like, no, I didn't apologize. She didn't apologize because she didn't do nothing wrong. And I respect that. Just like I respect when Kyrie Irving did that. I can respect when somebody says, well, in my opinion, I didn't do nothing wrong, and I'm not going to apologize for something I didn't do if I didn't do nothing wrong. I respect that. Okay? If you was out here doing a damn apology tour like Nick Cannon did, then we probably wouldn't be talking about this. But you're not. You standing on business, and I respect that. We got a co-host, Sage. You back in the building?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm back. I'm sorry. I couldn't hear anything. I'm sorry. Elon is doing a number on me right now, brother.
Well. Is there anything you like to add? Did you hear anything?
Yes, I agree 100% with the Kyrie Irving. Again, I think Kyrie Irving stood on 10 toes, and that's how you should. And I was very surprised and very proud, not surprised, excuse me, that Janet Jackson would actually do that. Shout out to her. I take my hat up to her. You did nothing wrong. There's no reason for you to apologize. Society has always wanted us to apologize for things that we have not done or things that we're not necessarily responsible for. It's like a way of like them shaming black people. So they always want you to apologize for things that you should not be apologizing for. That's the whole less than kind of thing. They think that you're less than them. So as long as you apologize to them, then hey, you're doing the right thing. You're a boy, so you should apologize for everything that you do. And I don't necessarily agree with that, of course. My thing is also with you brought up the fact that when Janet dialed back that whole apology. Now, she didn't just do that. She also fired the person that spoke on her behalf. And again, I think that's taking leadership, and I think that's showing courage. That sister did nothing wrong. And again, we stand behind Janet Jackson over here. And with that, I'm Pastor Brother Black.
Appreciate that, family. Hey, how do I sound? You can hear me, Afro?
Yeah, you good.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I got to add a couple points to what you guys have said, because you guys have actually laid it out perfect. What you said was a great point, brother. How they always put these microphones in front of these celebrities, always trying to get them to say something that's favorable about the Democrats, about Kamala. They're very persuasive. That's how the news does. They don't really do this with other communities at all. And as a matter of fact, when you look at politics in the United States of America, it's basically every other community over here on one side, and then Black Americans over here in a little box in the corner. Things that go for other communities don't go for us. They don't come at people. I'm still waiting right now to see Latinos cussing out other Latinos about vote for Kamala. I ain't seen it. I'm still waiting on Asians to cuss out other Asians, Indians to cuss out other Asians. The Democrats curse Black Americans out every single day. We're dealing with modern day slavery, which I'm always talking about. It's nothing but modern day slavery. They're still trying to get Black Americans to stay on that plantation politically, and they're willing to go to any lengths to do it. What's happening right now with Janet Jackson is exactly what we're talking about in terms of policies and how they treat other Black people. The Democrats' Black agenda is say anything to Black Americans and then get mad at them if they disagree. So we are really in a silent political war, just political, but it's going on right now with the old way of doing things versus the new way of doing things. It's the Black American, it's the foundational Black American. It's the way we are operating is we are doing like every other community does, free speech, say what you want to say, stand on your own lineage, stand on your own business, and the Democrats are trying to insert their ways upon us. They're trying to get us to get on that plantation, and it doesn't matter what happens. All that stuff about protecting Black women, that's all cap. They not really with that. You know what I'm saying? They don't really care about none of us. I always say it. The Democrats will sell out the Black community for $1. They have no love, and they're always sending out these blackface Democrats right now. And to be real, I'm going to be honest with you. If you really look at Kamala, you can tell she doesn't really have a lot of support from the establishment of Democrats. Barack Obama has not came out to campaign for her one time. He went to the Democratic convention because he had duties to go ahead and promote himself and promote his wife. He hasn't went out on the campaign trail. No, he has not. Oprah has not. She did one little cringe show a couple days ago. That's it. If you notice, you don't see that. Where's Clyburn at? Clyburn is in hiding. You don't even see him out there because he's upset because his master, Joe Biden, the white man, who he really loves the most, he's not the one who's being pushed as president right now. Kamala does not have a serious support from the establishments of Democrats. So now they're going to put all these new recruits in, which are the D.L. Hugleys, the Roland Martins, basically a bunch of irrelevant people. And when you combine that with the fact that the average Black American does not see her as a Black woman and the way they're treating Janet Jackson, and that's only galvanizing us more, what they say that further lets us know that these people are not on our side, it's going to get very, very difficult for the Democratic Party, this Kamala Harris campaign, to really get any traction right now. So I'm out here looking at the Kamala Harris situation and the way that we're standing next to our sister Janet Jackson, the way we're really riding for her. I'm really, really loving this because it's just a reflection of where we are at in this political campaign. These people disrespect us. They disrespect Janet. They disrespect anyone who shows dissent from that plantation. And when Kamala Harris turns around and she looks, and it ain't coming from the Republicans, it ain't coming from the conservatives. Those talking points, those receipts, they came from us. We're the ones who cashed those receipts about her lack of Blackness. And when she looks behind her and there's no Black Americans that are really supporting her, and then Barack Obama, he ain't there. Y'all seen Beyonce, they try to use Beyonce. Beyonce ain't came out for her. Look at who campaigned for Joe Biden, look who campaigned for Barack Obama, and then look who's not campaigning for Kamala. You add that to Black Americans, putting all the receipts about her being a decoy, a cosplayer, a smut on the table, it's not really looking too good for them right now. I hope that all those rainbow men for Kamala, and I hope all those W Karens for Kamala, I hope they're the ones who go out and vote for her, because be honest with you, it's not looking strong for the Black vote or the Black community. So we just got to continue to galvanize and understand that what they doing to Janet, y'all, that's the same thing they doing to us every single day. I done been a Russian bot about 15 times this week, and the week started just today. So let's continue to ride. Back to you, brother.
Appreciate you. To piggyback on your point, and not only have you not seen Obama, you haven't seen pretty much nobody. Y'all, where's Tim Walz? Where is this? Where's her VP? I don't see him around. I see more of JD Vance than I see of Tim Walz. JD Vance, as ignorant as he is, at least he out here headlining anything. Tim Walz, the second his background came out about him being some weirdo, listen. I gotta say this, and then I gotta be careful with my words, but I'm gonna say this, and y'all gonna pick up what I'm putting down. Tim Walz gives me some very weird vibes. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. The whole tampons in the boys' bathroom, you trying to make this LGBT straight coalition with children. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. He give me some, and I'm gonna be careful, allegedly, and this is me personally, this is my personal opinion. Tim Walz gives me don't leave your kids around Tim Walz type vibes. That's the energy he gives to me. He gives me the creepy man with the candy in the van. That's what he gives me. So I guess it is good he's not in there, but you don't see him around. You don't even see Biden. Where's Biden? Biden said he endorsed her at the DNC first day, then you ain't heard him bring her up again since then. And I'm going to say another thing, too. This is why when they came out with the 40,000 Black women and everything, I thought I call cap on that. I call cap. They don't have that. They can lie all they want to that Kamala has all this support. Kamala was literally the most disliked VP of all time a month before Biden dropped out. Now Biden dropped out. You think people are going to change their minds just because Biden dropped out? No. That's not happening. She don't really have support like that. What they're trying to do is they're trying to trick people because they understand most people, not us here, but they understand most people are going to go with what they hear and not what they research. Most people are not going to research her background. Most people are not going to analyze the interviews and analyze the debates. Most people are not going to do that. Most people are going to see um posters and flyers and little ads and stuff like that, and they're just going to take that and be all like, okay, well, she sound cool, and vote. That's what most people are going to do. Most voters are not super informed like that. So they're trying to manipulate the public. That's what they're trying to do by saying that, oh, she's so black and black, black, black. That's what they're trying to do. Okay. And it's our responsibility not to let that happen. And it's not happening. It's not happening at all. I want you to understand, this is the big story about Janet Jackson because of us. If we weren't the ones really pushing the Kamala Harris isn't black thing, people would look at the whole Janet Jackson statement that Kamala is Indian and they would look like, that's kind of weird, and move on. But they're hyper focused on, no, she's wrong. All of the articles, she's wrong, she's wrong, she's wrong, she's wrong. They're doing that because they understand that any bit of our message that gets out there, any questioning her that gets out there, that fractures her little support. They are so sensitive right now to any small little fracture, any small little dent in her support. They can't tolerate any of it. That's why they're blasting Janet Jackson right now. Any celebrity that says anything about her or doesn't endorse her publicly, that's what they say. Because her support is so small right now. Let's get to, because we're not going to keep this space open too long, because I do have a YouTube program tonight and it's in the Jumbotron. I need you guys all to be there. Appreciate you guys. We're going to get to lifestyle child of God. Oh, and
Thank
if
you,
anybody,
Afro.
before you go, if y'all want to come up and say something real quick, because we're going to be wrapping this space up in about 20 minutes or so.
Thank you, Afro Elite. Shout out to you and Black Alpha, and shout out to the audience and the family. I also want to thank Black Afro Elite for accepting my volunteering to uh, the rally. I appreciate you accepting my willingness to volunteer. Um, Family, I just think that not only do I stand behind Janet, I just believe that, well, to piggyback off what Afro Elise said, right now on the news, they said that President Biden's wife, Jill Biden, is actually holding cabinet meetings, and he's sitting in the back seat right now. So that should speak to his condition. We need to pay attention to her slipping through the cracks. President Carter, or one of the presidents of the past, predicted that when he was asked by a reporter, when will we see a female president? And he predicted that first she would become a vice president and that something would happen to the president and she would be brought up in the ranks to become president. And I do believe that we might see that happen. Look, we've seen 2 assassination attempts on Donald Trump's life, as well as there's probably going to be more, because we found the manifesto letter that came out in the news earlier stating that this man who last attempted his assassination is not alone, and that he is being prompted by a third party, which we don't know who that is. Um, but we also should be mindful that Kamala is backed by the AKAs. She is thoroughly proud and reps that sorority. They make major moves, the AKAs. If you watch their strategic moves, they make major moves. And I think that, and I said this in the space earlier, that we should formulate a team to go investigate with the AKAs on what their strategic planning is in reference to Kamala becoming president, because they're the ones actually leading her. Even Oprah displayed some questionable looks when she was interviewing Kamala. And, Kamala just says a lot of words that don't correlate with each other and don't add up to anything. She just says a lot of stuff. And I believe that she is using the black narrative, the black culture, the black card to try to roll off that Obama effect. When we seen Obama, we were blown back. We were like, what? A black man? And, after Obama got in office, he did some things, although they were universally used, but he tried to do his best, I believe, to help us, especially when it comes to parts like education. But I think what the real thing that Obama did for us is in his movie, Leave the World Behind. I think that's a clue for not only us Black Americans, but for Americans in general that, hey, things are going to start picking up quickly and you might see a civil war in the United States. They also came out right after that movie with the movie called Civil War. Well, why am I bringing this up, family? The topic is standing with Janet Jackson, and we stand with Janet Jackson. Her whole family came up in a time of civil rights, okay? But I think that we should be looking more grander scale and more down the line. There are things going on geopolitically across this globe, as well as high profile politically within this America, that we should really watch out for. Let's not get distracted as a black nation over Kamala Harris. Let's keep strategically planning on our protection and our longevity. And let's take over the America. We can do this as long as we work together. And I just want to thank Afro Elite for letting me up. Thank you. I'm gonna get off this because I know you said you don't got too much time. I also want to thank Black Alpha. And does anybody else in here want to shout out? No. But thank you guys for letting me up. And let's just think strategically and down the line. Remember, these powers that be, China, Russia, America, etc., not only do they plan 1,000 years out, but some of these treaties that they made back in the 17, 18, 19, early 1900s are up. And that's partly why you're seeing a large amount of immigration coming into America because, and this needs to be researched. I don't have it all fully researched out. But what I'm saying is that we should research it and see if these treaties have been, if they're over, because that can explain a lot that America's reaping. And I'll land my plane. Thank
Well,
you.
before you go, you made a comment about Obama and his relationship with black people. I just want to ask you this before we get to the other speakers, and we don't have a lot of time to go back and forth. So I just want to be clear with how you think about this. Do you think Obama was for foundational Black Americans and the progress of foundational Black Americans? You
I
think he was
think
like
that it's,
pro
I
FBA?
think, I think that it's very hard to determine what he believes in. But I think that we have to think about the powers that he's around. He's only one person. And even Minister Farrakhan had to, when he does those yearly speeches, I forgot what they're called, but he even said that we're going to protect our brother regardless of, what he does in office, because even Minister Farrakhan knows that Obama is limited. You're already limited as a president. You don't run our country. You're just a poster child for a corporation. But being a black man, they watching you. They're
Okay.
cuffing your hands and they're cuffing your mouth so that you can't say or do but so much.
Oh,
And I think when you're in that type of position of power, you have to be very strategic. And sometimes it's going to look to your people that you're not with us. So I
okay.
don't really know if he's with foundational Black Americans or not. I would like to say yes, because one, Michelle Obama, which is authentically a Black woman, but although there are theories out there. but he's from Chicago, one of the greatest places on earth to find Black Americans. And I'm sure he encountered many of his brothers and sisters. I'm not quite sure. I can't answer that question definitively, but I would like to say yes. I believe that he does have the hearts and minds of foundational Black Americans in mind. Whether he has the power to actually do work for us is actually questionable. Um, but yes, I think that we also have to remember when you get up into these realms, they'll kill you. They killed Malcolm X. They killed Martin Luther King, and they're bringing down all of our Black leaders. It started with Bill Cosby, and I might be incorrect. It might have gone further back than that. But as soon as they got Bill Cosby, every year after, you started seeing another Black leader come down, another one of our Black legends, another one of our Black icons, another one of our Black celebrities being brought down. Now, I'm not saying that they are right for doing the dirt that they were doing. What I'm saying is that there's plenty of white folks, being that America was built on crime, there's plenty of white folks out here that do that and more. Okay, especially with the brother Epstein. What was he really doing, right? But we picking
Now,
on Diddy.
okay, before, because we got other speakers, so we
Thank you, sir.
yeah. I just want to get your stance on that. Just want to get your stance on it. Okay. Um. I'm gonna say I'm as much as I would like for him to have been. I disagree. I don't think he was ever for pro FBA. And I don't think him marrying Michelle. There's a lot of Black people who are married that don't make them pro Black. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at what he's done since being in office. He's co-signed Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, and Kamala. You know, that's a reflection of himself. Nobody's making him do that anymore. He's not a politician. He's a former president. He couldn't run for another seat. So he's not being made to do that. He's doing that because he wants to do that.
If I could interject 1 second, what I would say to that is that remember what Obama said when they asked him on one of these interviews, 60 Minutes, one of those, they asked him would he run again? And he said no, but I would definitely love to sit in my basement and basically talk over a microphone into somebody's ear and lead America without having to do it, um, as the mascot president. So, I would say that we don't really know what his intentions is going on. Remember, these people were also specifically speaking on Obama. I believe he was what, FBI or CIA or something like that.
Oh,
So,
I don't know what that means, brother, because he hasn't been a president for almost 8 years. You
but
know,
he still lives in DC, and obviously we can see that he still has a large amount of influence.
and I agree.
With
And what has he
Yes,
done
sir.
since he's been president with that influence? If what you're saying is he couldn't do that because he was president and he had to deal with all these other factors and stuff like that that prevented him from doing it. Since he's been the president, since he doesn't have any of those strings attached, what has he done since then that you can directly credit him for? You know.
I wouldn't say that there's anything that I can directly credit him for because I haven't followed anything that he's done since he's left office. What I would just say that I'm like you, I really don't know. I know you're on the opposite side of the spectrum that you don't believe, but I would like to give some hope that he does think of his people. And but what I mean by those powers, when you're in high office like that, you don't really have as much power as you think that you have. For example, if I may, really quickly, when I was president of my college, I had a vice president, and the administration were using him against me. And what they were doing is they wouldn't let us push through anything that we submitted without his co-signature. But his ass was out here diddy bopping around. And I was like, yo, I'm trying to get things done. Like, I need you here because they won't let me push things through without your co-signature.
Oh,
And so
okay. So let me ask you this: then why was things being able to be done for other communities though? Because that's the thing that we get told about Obama, and we've been told about Obama ever since he was in office. We get told, well, there's nothing really he can do. His hands are tied, which is something politicians tell foundational Black Americans all the time. Oh, my hands are tied. You just don't understand. I really can't do it. I want to, but my hands are tied. But it's just very convenient, don't you think, that his hands are tied when it comes to doing something for us, but his hands are never tied when it comes to doing anything for literally anybody else. I'm talking about DACA, the rainbow community, all this
LGBTQ.
stuff. Yeah. So like, don't you think that that's a reflection of his values and what he really believes in?
I think to advocate towards your point, I think that you're absolutely correct in a lot of the aspects that you're presenting, but I also still believe that there are certain powers that you just have to deal with that are going to go up against you in trying to facilitate certain items, specifically towards foundational Black Americans. So they already want to keep us down. People don't want us up. They know what's going to happen. We're going to take over the earth. It's just that way. We are God's people. We're multi-talented. I could describe us in such great ways, but I just think that Obama also, we also have to pay attention to where the money goes. When you get funded in the higher ups by anybody, you are responsible to carry out those plans because they gave you money. And so what I believe is that if we're going to control the political realms as FBA, that we're going to have to start, as Tariq has said before, we're going to have to start funding our own people, and they need to be thoroughly vetted. They can't be just washing greens upstairs in the bathtub. Like, that's unheard of. And so
Okay, I
we
agree.
just,
I agree, brother. But we got some other speakers, and
yes, sir, thank you.
all right. Uh, CRU. Let's hold on for a second, brother. Black Alpha, you got something to say?
You already know, family. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I just want to say this real quick. Barack Obama is a tool of white supremacy. Barack Obama is nothing more than Kamala Harris 1.0. He didn't want to do anything for Black people because he himself is not a Black American. It's clear as day. Barack had all the time to do anything for us, and he just kept moving the goalposts and moving the goalposts and moving the goalposts. And in terms of Barack Obama not having the power to do anything, these presidents have the power to do whatever they want. The best indicator of how these people behave is just watch what they do. How they act is what their intentions were from the beginning. Barack Obama ran as blackety, blackety, black. As soon as he got in there, he was rainbow. Okay. And he was everybody except for Black people. This is how they hustle. This is how they scam. It's nothing new. The Democratic playbook agenda is out there for the world to see. And to be honest with you, the Black grassroots, those of us who are being intellectually honest, we're the ones who really have been calling them out and exposing them. Barack Obama, he's basically the same exact playbook that they always try to use on us. He ran as some type of Black person. And to be honest with you, a lot of Black folks back then was calling him out, to be real with you. And they were saying that he was not a Black American. And at that time, Black American and lineage, that wasn't really something people were on heavy in the mainstream. Today it is. So this is why, to bring it back to Kamala, she's not really going to get any traction because we will not be Barack Obama again. That will not happen again. And if you look, that's what the Democrats are trying to do. So when we see somebody be black, black, black on the campaign trail, and then when they get into office, they write executive orders, laws, everything. Remember, Barack Obama had the whole United States government under his first term, and they told Black people, wait till your second term. Well, no one else had to wait for their second term. They just got it the first go around. So we know exactly the type of decoy that these people are and who they present to us. And we just don't allow it to really fester. We don't really allow it to get off. That's what I love about this generation now, in this era today. It's way different than 2006, 2007, 2008. Black folks was falling for that. Now we're not. So this is why you see Kamala falling all the way back. So Barack has been exposed as a fraud. And to be honest with you, that's why he don't come around like that no more. Let me tell y'all something. They spent billions of dollars in Barack Obama so they could rock black people to sleep. Yes, We Can was supposed to be their version of I Had a Dream. Okay. And we ran that completely out the paint. And while we were at it and we were running that Yes We Can out the paint, we also went back and we took the I Have a Dream speech and then we added the Coming to Washington to get our check. So we reclaimed the legacy of Dr. King. But the Democratic Party were trying to feed us Barack Obama as somebody that was supposed to rock us to sleep for 60 years. Real talk. We were still supposed to be in the Barack Obama, hypnosis right now. We were still supposed to be blind. We were still supposed to be falling for him. They were supposed to put Barack in books and everything. And every time we come around, they was going to say, what would Barack do? Family, that didn't even last. That lasted, 8 years? And then we start calling that out. So we're not going to allow that to happen again. Never, not at all. And remember, a lot of black folks used to get mad at you for saying things about Barack the same way they get mad at you for talking about Kamala Harris. The best thing is, though, is those folks who do that, they're irrelevant and no one gives a damn. The church folks that run around and wag their finger, irrelevant. The Democratic shield, irrelevant. These folks cannot come around our spaces. They can't come to where we are. It does not matter. They hold no weight, no bearings in black society. And that's the reason why we have delineated to the point where these people are rendered inconsequential. So that's what I got to say about Barack Obama. But let me say this one more thing about Barack before I go. Barack Obama, we will not go back and clean up this man's legacy and start trying to paint him as someone who had hands tied behind his back. And he really just loved us the whole time. He was really our friend the whole time. It's just, by some hard reasoning, he just could never do nothing for us. We will not go back and have revisionist history about him. That's what we have to start doing, y'all. We have to make sure the way people treated us gets framed. So the kids coming up in the next generation, they know who was on our side when it mattered the most, and they know who the opposition was. Barack was never on our side, never, not at all. You got to understand, you're talking about a guy who literally was never really even around black people until he went to college. And then when he went to college to, Ivy Leagues. Come on, let's be real. And as far as Michelle Obama, we got to be honest, we have coons in our lineage. All right. So we can't do this thing where if you're from, Jamaica, you're bad. But if you're from America, you're good no matter what. No. No, hell no. Michelle Obama be out here tap dancing too. So the fact that she's from Chicago and she's of the lineage, that doesn't mean a damn thing, because there's a lot of people of the lineage that are sellouts. So we have to separate the domestic coon from the foreign tether. Because be honest with you, a domestic coon is just somebody who's trying to infiltrate our society from within. A tether's trying to do it from without. So that's the way it is. So no, Barack Obama, 1-point ho, 2-point ho, 3-point ho, 4-point ho, and you go all the way down the list, just add a bunch of more hoes, has never been for Black America. I send it back to you, brother.
Appreciate you, brother. Fully agree. Fully second that. We might have to do a whole space on that, on black politicians, because there's a lot I want to say about black politicians just in general and the concept of a black face in a high place. But we short on time, so we're going to get to the last speakers here. Let me see. RUC or CRU. That's not CRU. You got it. Okay. We'll get to Miss Berna. Going one. Okay.
Okay. Wait, is it working? Okay. Hey guys. Hello. Afro Elite. I've actually never talked on your spaces before, but firstly, I want to say, as far as the whole Janet Jackson situation, I just don't understand why people are attacking her, because like she's entitled to her own opinion, and I actually still like her, like no matter what. And but what was I gonna say? Shoot. Oh gosh, what? Oh, now I remember. Thingy, what you call it? It just doesn't. I just think that people need to understand that things don't just happen. Like for example, you mentioned like DACA, like that's still like under attack sometimes, and it's not permanent. So it's like a process. So it's just, it's just so complicated. Not that I'm saying you don't have your legit grievances, but I'm just saying, it's just sometimes,
Can
like.
I ask you a question though?
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
looking on your page, and you retweeted a woman that said Janet Jackson said something that, and I'm gonna quote, Janet Jackson said some ignorant S about a black woman and DL Hughley called her out. What is the issue? And so and
What do you mean?
that's the first thing on your page, and then you came up here saying that you don't understand why she's being bashed, and she should have she's entitled to her own opinion. So you came on the space and you saying something that's very different from what's on your timeline right now.
Oh, that. Like sometimes I just retweet stuff randomly. Like it's
Really?
just me.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Really?
Retweet is not always endorsement. So
Well,
yeah.
no, actually, a retweet that's why retweets are a thing, because a retweet is an endorsement. Unless you quote tweet it and say you oppose it, a retweet is a direct endorsement. And the thing is that I can understand maybe you retweet things randomly. Then you retweeted DL Hughley, and he says, "quote Facing criticism for her ignorant Kamala Harris comment, Janet Jackson has issued an apology," which is actually untrue. So I mean,
Hmm.
these are some very can these are some like so it's very interesting random. These are some very coincidental random tweets you're retweeting.
Oh.
So
Uh-huh.
that's what I'm saying, because it sounds like you're coming on the space and saying something different from what you've been peddling. That's what it comes off as.
No, but it's not me who wrote it. So it's just
Okay.
yeah. But yeah,
Now
that's
let me ask
all.
you,
But
because let me see. You did say this though. You did quote tweet something else, so you do know how to quote tweet. You said whether
okay.
Kamala Harris is really black or not, what does that have to do with her ability as a presidential candidate? Isn't she mixed though? But so what? So let me ask you.
That's just how I feel. Like
Okay.
now that is truthful. I'll stand on that because I actually did write that. And yeah, to me, it's just I don't care if she's black, white, Indian. Like yeah, I just don't care.
Okay. And
But yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just going through your
Okay.
timeline. You retweet Kamala, you retweet everything about Kamala, everybody who supports. I mean, these are very interesting random retweets. I can't help but notice. So let me ask you directly. Let me not make any assumptions. What do you think about Kamala Harris?
What do I think? Honestly, honestly, she's okay, but hmm, I don't. Let me put. I don't know how to explain it. Like, okay, she's okay. I don't have an issue with her. I don't love her, but I don't dislike her. Let me put it that way. If that makes sense. I don't have an issue with her. So
So you're kind of indifferent, right? You don't support her. You don't support her, but you don't like dislike her, right? Is what you're
I
saying?
don't. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, why do you retweet her all the time?
I retweet so many different
There's something
things.
you have to like about her to be following her so often and retweet her so much. What do you like about her?
What do I like about her? I don't. It's like she seems progressive in a sense, and yeah, yeah, that's just me.
Okay. Progressive how so?
Progressive as far as like women's rights, LGBTQIA rights,
Hmm.
and a few other things. So yeah.
Okay. And
Are you LGBTQ now?
I was just about to ask, because I see
Hmm?
it in your bio, so
Yeah.
okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nobody's saying that there's anything wrong with that. So you're supporting
Okay.
Kamala because she is pro LGBT, right?
Pro. Like she's pro so many things because just me personally, I tend to be like more. I just have more of a liberal mindset. So like I'm just more free spirited. So that's just me. So yeah. So
Okay. Well, What does she support as far as black people that you like?
Black people. Gosh, what does she support? Oh, you mean specifically about black people?
Hmm.
Honestly, I'm actually not gonna lie to you because I'm not gonna come on here and make up stories like how some people like to just, like to say claim things. And at least me personally, I've never seen her explicitly like do things or say things that would directly specifically support black people only. And yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna say. And yeah, because I don't want to get people being upset with me or anything like that. So yeah,
Okay. So
but that's just how I'm gonna
you do
say it. Yeah.
understand that if she does not
Hmm.
say she supports black people, it's because she does not support black people. Because who she says she supports, that's who she supports. Like you said, she says she supports the LGBT. She said she supports women's rights. She says she supports these things because that's a reflection of her thoughts and values. If she does not say anything about black people, that is also a reflection of her thoughts and values. Wouldn't you agree?
You do have a point there. I'm not gonna deny that. So yeah.
So, do you think? Let me ask you. You're voting. I'm assuming heavily that you're voting for her coming up, right? If you're in America, right?
Unfortunately, I'm not eligible to vote yet,
Okay. Okay.
but
Okay.
in a
But
few years,
you're
hopefully.
trying to
So
you're supporting in every way you can, right? By retweeting and
am I?
trying to spread the word.
Honestly, can I be honest? The only it's really weird, but the only reason why I retweet certain things is just to kind of like if something's trending. That's honestly why I do my retweets, and if that makes sense to you, because I'm just trying to regrow my account. So
Okay.
yeah,
So you want attention, you're
if that
saying. You want attention.
I just want attention. No, I have other causes. Like like I don't understand, and I don't understand. It wasn't even you. You're not the host. I don't know why you had to slip in like that. In, if anything, you are asking for attention. So
So,
please
ma'am,
don't.
ma'am.
Yeah, I'm not even talking to you.
Okay. Hold on.
Stop. Like,
Let's. He
And
was the co-host. He had some technical issues. That's why he had to leave the space and come back. And they're not letting me
Afro,
co-host
send me
him
the
again.
co-host. Or they not? Oh, okay,
I'm trying. I did it a few times already,
okay.
but it's saying
Try
it's
to send me
maxed
one more
out.
time.
So,
Let's see how this works, Miss Brenner. It's maxed out. Okay, not a problem. Not a problem. But anyway, go ahead, continue, ma'am.
and ma'am, the reason why we're asking you these questions, and we were supposed to be off here, but this is getting interesting. The reason why we asking you these
oh, okay.
questions is because you came up here and you were saying you were making it seem like you supported Janet Jackson and you didn't understand why she was getting bashed and all this stuff. And then I literally looked on your timeline a couple seconds ago, and it seemed like you were a party that was supporting her bashing. The same person who's out here bashing her, D.L. Hughley, you retweeting him and commenting stuff and doing all this pro Kamala stuff. And then when you came up here, then I asked you if you like her. You said no, not really, kind of not trying to admit that you do, but your timeline speaks a different story. So you're giving a very dishonest energy. You understand?
Okay.
Do you agree?
Honestly, hmm. I guess maybe. I guess this is our first interaction. So,
Okay. Can I ask you, where do you live?
gosh.
Where do you live?
I live somewhere in America. So yeah,
Just what state?
that's
Not
where I
going to
live.
get your address on public. Just what state do you live in?
It's okay. It's Georgia.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, let me just.
How long have you
Yeah.
lived in the States?
At least a few years actually, a few years. Yeah.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. A few years. How you
Mhm.
like it here? How you like it here?
It's okay, really. Like, it actually depends what state, actually. So it depends because each the politics in each state is quite complicated. So
Okay.
sometimes it's
Okay.
red states, blue. But actually will admit this. I'm happy that where I am, it's slowly become purple over the years. So you see we have those new senators, Senator Warnock and Senator Ossoff. So yeah, I was actually kind of happy about that. So that is at least things are slowly, maybe, hopefully. Anyway, no, let me not say that. So
Okay.
yeah,
Well, where
yeah.
where were you from originally before you came to the States?
Wait, that was somewhere in Africa. So
Somewhere. I mean, what country? Nobody's gonna find you. I promise.
no, I don't know. It's like
You don't know.
I'm now kind of. I think somewhere in Africa. I'm kind of paranoid now.
No,
So
no, no.
yeah.
I'm asking because I have a follow-up question. Nobody's gonna track you down or anything like that. Just the country. Because you have the reason why is because you have three different flags in your bio. So I'm trying to specify which country you came from.
Yes, because those are my three. I have three flags because those are my people. Those are my different
Yeah,
lineages,
and
basically. Because
that's great, man. But I'm just why you don't have to be ashamed, ma'am. I'm just asking what country you came from. That's not a there's nothing to be ashamed of. Just what country did you come from?
okay. I hope you won't attack me or anything.
Okay.
'Cause-
I'm not gonna attack you. I'm just asking where you came from.
okay. Um, most of my people are like South African. I'll just say it. And yeah.
So did you come from South Africa?
I think so. Yeah, basically.
You don't. Oh, how old are you? Because I mean, because the thing you're saying you think so, you either did or didn't, ma'am. Come on, this is not the first 48. I'm not trying to. This is not a murder interrogation. I'm asking what country you came from. There's no need to be so nervous.
Okay. Yes, it was.
Okay, so you came from South. Okay, all right. You came from South Africa and you moved to the States and everything. So
Hold on, Afro. Hold on 1 second, big bro. Miss Bruno, are you legally in America or are you not here legally?
What? I have my papers. So yeah,
You said
I came
something
as a
earlier that
teenager.
yeah, you said something earlier that caught my attention. I don't want you to take offense to this, but you said you're not eligible to vote. So I'm just trying to figure out what does
Yeah.
that mean exactly.
People who have DACA and stuff can't vote yet. So yeah.
Got it. That's what I wanted to get to. So you're here off of DACA, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So do you know who created DACA and why that existed? Who voted that into law?
Wasn't that like because I remember it came into effect when President Obama came in. So yeah,
Right. You got it. Yep.
but
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
okay,
DACA is not. But you understand DACA is not permanent. So
so
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
now I'm
It's not.
asking,
It
and
has to go through. It has to go through the House and the Senate to fully become the full pathway to citizenship. So yeah.
So wait,
now
do
I'm
you
Yeah.
want to
asking you.
stay
I'm
So
here
asking.
permanently?
Hold on, because we don't got that much time left. I'm asking you where you come from and all of this stuff, so I can have a better understanding of you and your mentality and everything like that. So I can have a better understanding of that. You said you came here a few years ago, right? So that was what 2021. That's a few years ago, 2020 or 2021, right?
no, that was like years ago.
That
Like
was like a few years ago. You said a few years ago, so I'm trying to get a gauge so I can understand how you think a little bit better.
Okay, because I partly grew up here, so
Okay.
yeah. So
So that's a little more than okay, a little more than a few years ago. Okay. So
Mhm.
you grew up here, your family, they came here from South Africa. You grew up here and everything. How long have you been a part of DACA?
Wait. Wait, why are you asking me all these personal questions?
Okay,
Like,
because it's
are you gonna ask me about my father, my mother? Are you going to ask me now? Start getting into
ma'am, you seeming kind of secretive. I'm just trying to figure some things out. But okay, because you said a few years ago. The reason why I'm asking you this stuff is because you say one thing and then you say another thing, and then you get very scared to answer a question. When I asked you, you came over. When did you come over here? You said a few years ago, and then I just asked you, and you said you partly grew up here. So if you partly grew up here, you didn't come here a few years ago. So that's why I was asking. Now, my thing is this: us here in this room, our allegiance is to our community. Our allegiance is to Black empowerment. Our allegiance is to what is best for Black people, for foundational Black Americans. And looking through your page and everything, I'm seeing a lot going on, and there's a lot going on outside of America. What do you think about? Not even. Let me ask you a better question. There's a lot going on outside in the diaspora, and I
hmm
don't see you really championing. I'm looking through your page now. I don't see you being a champion of what's going on in South Africa or any other place that your flag is from. So, and I'm making a point. I'm not even asking you a question. I'm making a point. Is people, and this is why we have an issue with certain individuals who come over here, because certain individuals who come over here, such as whether you're doing it accidentally or not, don't take offense to it, but this is just a learning lesson right now. Whether you're doing it accidentally or not, giving you some grace right now. Please, if you interrupt right now, you're gonna mess it up. So let me give you some grace. You come over here from another land based off of the sacrifices and how hard work of our people. Do you understand? And then you work against our interest. And I've been very polite. I've been asking questions just so I can figure things out. I haven't made any assumptions, but this is what we're talking about when it comes to foreigners who come over here and they go against our interest. Kamala Harris is against the interest of the Black community, and the reason why we took the long way, so nobody can say I made any assumptions or I jumped to any conclusions. I asked you, do you feel like she's doing anything for Black people? You said no. You can't tell me one thing she's doing for Black people. Now, when you said things about what she's doing for women's rights, you can specify that. You can specify things she's doing for the LGBT community. You can specify all of those things, but you can't specify something specific for Black people. And this is our issue with her. And yet, Janet Jackson said something. And on your profile, you're echoing the people who are bashing Janet Jackson as you tried to come up here in this space and act like you weren't doing that all through your timeline since it's been going on. That's what you've been doing. So you're going against what we're going through. I mean, what we're pushing for. This is and I'm just making this statement be very clear. This is our problem when it comes to the foreigners from the diaspora. Is because you all come over, and I want you to learn from this. I'm not bashing. I want you to learn from this. It's because you all come over and you have a separate agenda from what we have as a Black agenda in America. Your agenda is first and foremost is either LGBT or pro women's right, which is abortion. That's all that is. Let's call that what that is. That's just abortion access. So you put that on your forefront of priorities, and because that's on your forefront of priorities, and I want everybody listening to the space live, recorded in a burner. This is exactly what we're talking about. And I didn't jump to any conclusions. I was polite. I asked all the questions. I got all the details, all the answers, and this is what happened. And ma'am, I tried to give you the benefit of the doubt, but I believe you know what you're doing because when I was asking you the questions, you seemed very afraid to answer the questions of where you were from, how long you've been here, all of these, as if you knew where I was going with this. So do you see our problem now? Ma'am, okay, ma'am, do you hear me?
Okay, okay, I'm back, and yes, sir, I can hear you, and
Do you want to fix the problem? Let me ask you, do you want to fix the problem?
honestly, I kind of feel I just want to say I'm sorry to you if I
No, no, no,
offended
no, no,
you,
no, no.
and
But do you want to? It's not about offending me. It's about the problem. And I just addressed a issue. I'm not offended. I don't take it personal. But do you want to fix it though?
well, I want to fix
You
it.
do. Okay. That's
How, it's like because let me tell you, because I've actually learned a lot about Black history, like the civil rights struggle and everything, and I'm fully aware that especially being a melanated immigrant, how it was you guys who actually fought for our right to be here, and I fully acknowledge and I respect that and I appreciate that. So yeah, I have all sorts of friends. I have Black friends, I have like white friends,
okay.
LGBT
Oh,
friends,
okay.
Latino friends.
Okay.
So yeah, if you'd like me to actually come here and actually tell you thank you to your ancestors for fighting during the civil rights struggle, and
Yep.
yes, I'm
And
aware
that's
of
great.
all of
But
that.
there's
And
there's ways you
yeah,
can. Now, I mean, here's the thing: if you're
okay,
echoing the voice of our enemies, the only way to fix that issue is for you to stop doing that and then start pushing our message. Are you ready to do that? All
yes,
right.
sir.
Okay, that's good. See, we're making progress. So me and the three co-hosts up here, you can follow us, right? That's Black Alpha and Sage. Sage isn't the
Hmm.
co-host. That's technical issues. But you can follow us, and then you can just start retweeting what we're. First off, all of the pro Kamala tweets, you just take that down. Just retweet that. You just all that DL Hughley stuff. Just unretweet that. You can do that now while we talking. You can just unretweet if you're serious. You can just unretweet all of that, and then you can start retweeting our stuff because we're really for Black people, not DL Hughley, right?
Um, and okay, and
Hmm.
Afro Elite, Mr. Afro Elite, I just want to say I'm really sorry to you for any misunderstanding that we had today, and yes, and I will try to find all those tweets and
I
I
mean,
will
I'm seeing.
retweet
Okay,
that,
all right.
and
Okay, we'll see. I'm seeing them right now. They're the first thing
I
on your
will do that.
timeline, so you know. But you can start retweeting our stuff now, though. Yeah, like
Hmm.
me, my YouTube channel, my brother Black Alpha's YouTube channel. You can start retweeting that now, and then unretweet that. Don't we'll fix you up. How about that? You want to be fixed? We got you.
Okay.
All right,
Yes, sir.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that
Lastly,
was
too,
progressive.
Miss Bruna, you shouldn't divide yourself up because I noticed when you said you have white friends, you have black friends, you have LGBT friends. We don't do that over here. There are people that are LGBT that are on code, so we don't divide up LGBT as if that's something different. So I understand where you were going with that, but there's several respectable people that are LGBT. So we don't do that over here. I myself am not, absolutely not. But if you are, that does not mean you're something different. You said you are melanated, correct? Can you hear Miss Bruna?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, sir. Actually,
So you wear our uniform then. Yeah.
I'm
So you
black.
wear our uniform.
Hmm.
So you shouldn't divide yourself up like that. One thing I do appreciate
Okay.
about you as that others don't do, and we're gonna wrap this up because I see my brother's going live soon. You didn't come up here leading with your sexuality, so I respect that about you. You kept it on the topic, and it wasn't no side veering. So I respect that about you, and I take my hat off to that. But what I would say is, don't divide yourself up as if LGBT is something different. We're on moving on a black agenda. That's why we vote black, and LGBT is included in that. If you are black, okay, because the white LGBT here in America don't give a shit about the black LGBT. Okay, so you have to adhere to blackness here in America. I know in South Africa you guys have different color cast system, but that shit doesn't fly here in America. So when you are here, you said you are in Georgia. When you are here, you are black. It doesn't matter what your sexuality is. Remember what uniform that you wear and fight with those people.
Before we let you go, um, that first thing on your page by that woman, her name is Celise. You need to unretweet that. Celise,
Sleeps.
yeah.
Let me
No,
try
it's the
find
first. It's the very first thing on your page. Your last retweet. Yeah, you got to
delete.
unretweet that, and then tweet this
Janet
space out.
Jackson is
Yeah.
oh
Hmm.
delete.
Hmm.
Okay, let me. And I also just wanted to say something is that I also hope that your people, as foundational Black Americans, I really hope that you guys get your reparations and everything. And because actually, the more I've learned about it, it actually breaks my heart what you guys have been through, and the fact that you guys still have not like gotten any type of like compensation for everything that you went through, whether it's Tulsa, Oklahoma, like slavery and all that. And yeah, and I support
Well,
that
if you support
completely.
that, you got to stop supporting the Democratic
Yeah.
Party because they the ones blocking it. If you know what's going on in California, they the ones coming in
Oh
between
yeah,
us
I
and
saw that.
reparations. So if you
Yeah.
support all reparations, you got to stop supporting them. But we learn it. It's step by step. We learn it. Did you retweet the space? I didn't see it. Let me see it. Did you retweet the space? Ms. Berner, I still see you got that tweet
Wait,
up. Come on now. I thought we was making progress. I'm a little disappointed.
I I
Okay, okay.
deleted
Well,
it. I just deleted
maybe
it.
my
You
phone is
might
a
need
little
to
slow. Okay, all
you
right.
might you might need to
Okay, that's
refresh. I
okay. That's
just
possible.
deleted.
But I do got to wrap
Yeah.
things up. So thank you very much, and we'll see. We'll see. It's a fixer up right here. I appreciate your politeness.
Okay. And thank you for being so
Of
nice to
course.
me. And
All
yeah.
right. All right. Thank you. You have a good night. All right. I'll let our co-host wrap things up while I get ready for YouTube. Sage, you got it.
Half co-host, okay? Half. Um, so family, I do want to say this again. Thank everyone for tuning in. I think that progress is and will be made. I think that family again, when you handle opposition, when you handle people that have a difference of opinion, it's a teaching moment. And you saw that here. We were supposed to end this space a little while ago. Sorry for all the technical issues I was having. I'm just gonna blame Chicago for that. But I do want to take my hat off to everyone that stayed and that learned something. Because again, use this as a teaching moment, family. You don't have to beat people down. Sometimes they just need to learn, and hopefully it's genuine, and hopefully that people follow through with certain things. What I would say to our queen sister love, Janet Jackson, I will be playing some Janet Jackson as soon as I end this space. And I'm not mad at that sister at all. I don't know when it's become popular to quote unquote attack a black woman. I thought we were protecting black women. Because when that Tales from the Crypt looking motherfucker dropped out a couple of months ago, everyone was screaming protect black women. And now we're attacking a black woman. So it seems that as long as it's, along the party lines, we can protect black women. But when it leaves the party, then it's bash black women. So I stand with Janet Jackson. I know that she's probably still grieving her oldest brother. rest easy to Tito, rest easy to Michael. I love the fact what that family, Janet Jackson. I mean, the Jackson family, I would say, is most likely like the first family of Black America. That's our royal family. And if we allow someone like a Kamala Harris's legacy to diminish the Jackson family, what do we have then? So again, I stand with our sister Janet. I stand with the Jacksons, 10 toes. I'm so happy that she did not apologize. I don't know about this whole, oh, she's receiving backlash. Fuck all that. We protect our own. We have to treat this the same way we treated Kyrie Irving. Brother Jason Black always brings up the fact that we backed Kyrie Irving. That's why they were not able to defeat him. We need to back Janet in that same realm. And with that, I'm going to pass to my brother, Black Alpha.
Appreciate that, brother. I too stand with Janet Jackson, and I stood with Janet before this situation. I'm gonna stand with her after, and I stand with all my certified foundational Black American women. And the Democratic Party, as we've already put on the table, is the number one ops of not just Black America, but specifically our women. Because remember, the Democrats are the main ones always using Black American women as props, and they completely just disrespect our sisters. They talk around our sisters. They act as if whoever they put in the forefront, someone like Kamala Harris, that is the representation of all Black American women. And then they openly attack Black American women who do not go for that. This goes to show what we've always been saying in the Black grassroots, that it's to the point that the Democratic establishment, the Democratic plantation, is the number one cancer in the Black community. And they have to be taken care of politically, not violently. They have to be taken care of politically. And the best way that you can take care of that family is by not voting, not standing next to them, not going to, these polls and voting for them blindly. The best way to get rid of the Democrats family is by sitting on the couch. I always tell people you can stand on business by sitting on the couch. So this is where we are now, because I'm telling the world right now, we are in a pivotal situation to where if we can stop this whole agenda that they have, then we can control the future. They want to make it to where Kamala Harris is the Black woman. Well, let me tell you, if Kamala Harris is the Black woman today and she wins the presidency, in about 5 to 10 years, every single Indian woman in the world is going to be a Black woman. And then every single Latino is going to be a Black woman. And then every single Arab is going to be a Black woman. Where does it stop, y'all? Understand supremacy's got these 100-year plans. We got to match that. We got to match that. So they're trying to get to the point where they can just literally reshape, remold our lineage. And it starts with people like Kamala Harris. They already did it with Barack Obama, but now they're getting bold and they say, we're going to do it again. So this is why we have to go ahead and make this situation something strong. And they say that there's a backlash on Janet. There's no backlash on Janet, because once again, the average Black American who's certified out here in the streets is rocking with Janet Jackson. The backlash that they speak of is the same backlash that's going to come from people like Roland Martin. That don't count. D.L. Hughley. That don't count. Let me tell you something. If you're an insignificant Democratic bum, then you're not even qualified to have backlash. The same backlash that that they're going to put in the front of our faces are going to be from people who make no sense to us anyway. The average brother and sister is really standing on business. And remember, no matter what you see out here in public, no matter where you are in society, no matter what we're saying aloud, the Democrats just say that it ain't happening, because they're living off of hype and they're living off of conspiracy theories. That's all the Democrats have. They don't have anything solid or tangible. What's reality to the world is literally fantasy to them. That's what they're doing. And the main fantasy that they have out there is that Kamala Harris is a Black woman. That has to be stopped, and it will be stopped by us. So continue to put in work, continue to put the receipts on the table. I don't know how many more receipts we can put out there. We got receipt after receipt, all the way from family pictures, all the way down to birth certificates. It don't get more real than where it is. So we have to let the Democratic Party know that they do not represent Black America. They do not represent our lineage, our family tree, and they definitely do not represent our certified foundational Black American woman. That part, that part, that part. With that said, certified salute to everybody. Back to you, Afro.
Brother Black.
What's up? What up?
Sorry about that. Do you stand with Janet Jackson anytime, any place?
Every day, twice on Sundays.
My brother.
All y'all have a good night. Certified salute.